Okay.
Thank you for joining the Author Spotlight Show. My name is Gail Watson, President and CEO of Women Speakers Association. As part of running a global community of women in 120 countries, it is my privilege that I get to connect and have conversations with women from all over the world doing amazing work. It's an important time for women to step up and find and own their own voice. And it's even more exciting when we see her put those words on paper and share them in a book so it's easily shared. Today, we feature a very special guest. Her name is Jane Parmell. She's international best-selling author, co-author in Voices of the 21st Century. So please join me in a warm welcome to Jane. Hi, Jane.
Hi, Gail. Thank you so much. Beautiful
Really
to
excited to have you in Voices of the 21st Century, and thank you for being a part of the show today. Now you share an extraordinary life-changing story, an event, and it was surviving the superstorm Sandy, right?
correct.
So please share with us, about that time and what inspired you to share your story.
Well, what inspired me to share my story was the fact that I think how we responded to it and how we came back from it was really important. Um, we have built a very strong brick and mortar business and had a great staff and a full lineup of events. We were in the event management business. And unfortunately, the day before Superstorm Sandy, my mom wound up in the hospital. And I spent the day in the ER where I really had to pull myself away from my business, which was one of the first things. I watched how my staff and my partner were able to really pull together and in my absence be able to handle everything. And of course, the weathermen, sometimes they're wrong. So this time they weren't. And we really got sideswiped by the fact that this storm was as big as it was. It completely demolished our storefront and 5 feet of water, 5.5 feet of water throughout a 25 by 25-foot store. It just really, we lost everything. So to see all of that, to see the hard work after almost 20 years, but to see more so that after the storm went and after the waters receded, how our community came in around us. And by community, I don't just mean like the neighborhood, although there were people from the neighborhood that did help. It was our community, the staff that we had built, the partner businesses that we had on the block. It just everybody pulled together. And I think it was so important to show that resiliency is not just on your own, it's also through community.
Absolutely. Now, just for some of our viewers who are around the world and wondering what was Superstorm Sandy and when did that happen? When was that? It was a hurricane, was it not? Or
Right. That was October 29th, 2012. So it was a while back. And of course, it was the perfect storm. There was two or three storms that joined up in the Atlantic and it just roared up the coast. It was probably one of the largest, I think it might have actually been the largest hurricane on record to hit. And to have it hit in New York with the veracity that it actually was a superstorm downgraded to a superstorm. So it wasn't a hurricane per se, but when it hit, because of the way the geography is here, the water did more damage than the actual storm. So the ocean surge really just it was amazing. We have footage from our security cameras that was just unbelievable to see. And
crazy.
as
Yeah,
quickly as it happens, it went out.
so as you were sharing there, I could you speak of it like it was yesterday, like that pain of it is still in you. That you're alive in that moment. So, Jane, when people are reading your story, what do you really want them to take away? Because I know you speak so much. There was something that really showed up for you within that sort of the silver lining of that storm.
Definitely. One thing that happened was a lot of people came by. There were a lot of people that wanted to see the destruction, however macabre it might be. But I kept smiling through most of it. And I really tried. My partner and I just kept saying, you know what? it could have been so much worse. We were in a building that housed other people besides our business. Thankfully, there was no fire, there was no collapse, there was nothing. Um, Gail, everything can be replaced. All things can be replaced. And although it was 19 years of stuff, which was a lot, we knew that we could persevere through it. We knew that um, kept a smile on our face, kept our head down, kept working. We would be okay. We would come out on the other side stronger for it.
Love that. And you really have strong perspective of what came out of there. Family first. I love all those pictures of your beautiful family behind you so proudly right over your shoulder there. So that's really, really beautiful. So from that experience, I mean, clearly it shows up in your world today and it's changed you or you've evolved from it, right?
Yep.
How does that show up in your world today with what you're doing in business?
What I'm doing in business now is I'm working with people to really get them to see, one thing I think it put it in perspective was we had done a lot and we had achieved certain things and we still had a lot to do, but we had to be proud of what we had already done and what we already accomplished and use it as a springboard to other things. And that's exactly what this superstorm did for us. Whether it was working with SBA, which I had never done, the Small Business Administration, I had never done that. You learn how to get a little bit of a tough skin. Dealing with community groups that were outreaching um, to help us rebuild our storefront. We had that done by the city of New York for minimal cost to us. They were helpful to us. And even down to, my staff. My staff was unbelievable at that time. I mean, they were pulling wet stuff out that weighed what they weighed. It was just piles and piles of things. And even our neighbors, my brother-in-laws owned the business across the street. They made sure that when they bought everything for their staff in terms of lunch, they grabbed some for our guys too. So, it was just a pulling together who came by with pizzas one day, who came by with, roast beef sandwiches another day, some warm cocoa. It worked. And to see everybody just really pull together, that was the most meaningful thing. And it keeps showing up in the business that I run now. Through community. I'm in a great community with WSA. I'm in a great community locally as well. And the importance of people working together and what we can share and what we can learn and also what we have to teach each other. It just keeps coming up again and again in my business. And I'm thankful for it.
Yeah, you are an amazing person. I'm glad you really stepped into this role of supporting other business leaders, business owners, because all of us can face those challenging times. Hopefully, not a big hurricane,
Mhm.
um, but it's a really good analogy or metaphor for our business. Sometimes we see those storms. We've just seen a massive global storm blow
Exactly.
through that seems to be still twirling around, right?
Exactly. And that's the one thing that, you never expect it. And it doesn't have to be at a 10. It could be at a 3 and still impact your world, especially for business owners and people that are in charge of their own thing. Once that rug is pulled out from under you, it's kind of hard to get your footing again. And I think that if we pull together and we can teach people how to do that and we can have them build community around them, they can actually thrive after a storm of any type.
So important. And thank you for really stepping into that to take charge and support others, because that's super super important,
Thank you.
for anybody that are facing their own storms, whether it be illness, our
Mhm.
environment, things out of our
Exactly.
control, like you say, acts of God
Hmm.
that we can't, that are beyond our control. It's really nice to know, and one that there's people out there that can support us and coach us through our business, because it's the one thing. When we create our businesses, we pour our heart and soul into it, and
Right.
we don't want to lose it.
Exactly. It's your
It's
baby. It's your
your
baby.
baby,
Yep.
and losing that almost means like we lose a piece of ourselves.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Okay. So I know we have people here going, I want to read that story. I need
I hope
that
so.
to find that same resilience to the storm that I'm facing right now with where
Mhm.
I'm at. So Jane, where can we get a copy of your book?
Best thing to do is shoot me an email. You can reach me at jane@janeparmel.com, or if you follow me on any social media, I think I'm on almost everything at this point. Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, whatever else there isn't, LinkedIn. You can just send me a message and I will get back to you on with the details as soon as we have everything ready to go. You'll be able to get a copy.
Awesome. So a DM, if we're looking at you on our Instagram right now, or just a DM, we'll get to you then, huh?
Yep. JP
Okay.
Biz, JP Biz Coaching. That's my
JP
handle on
Biz
all of
good. Yeah, and I follow you on Instagram, and I love your Instagram because you're so creative with your graphics, and you just always change up things and
it. Thank you.
inspiring words. So a great account to follow
Thank
on
you.
on Instagram. Thanks, Jane.
Appreciated.
I know, but I'm not sure everybody listening knows this. You are full of wisdom.
Thank you.
And I would love for you to leave us today with some of your words of wisdom.
My words of wisdom. I would tell you, if I had something wise to say, I would say it would be to really persevere, to know that no matter how bad things get, and it doesn't have to be ground shaking, earth shattering, it just has to be affecting your world. As long as you know that on the other side you can come out and people will be around you, all you have to do is ask for help sometimes. Accept the offers, which is something that we had to learn to do because we were always the ones helping. Be open to help. It'll come to you in the strangest places, out of the strangest people, but community and unifying around a cause is perfect for it. So that's the way to be resilient. Have community around you.
The great Jane Parmell. Thank you so much. I love what you stand for. I love community. I was just thinking as you were sharing those words of wisdom that this has our time most recently in this past year has been a whirlwind storm, a tornado, and
Yep.
there's others around us who are suffering, and there's others that are feeling isolated and maybe they're losing their business. Um, I think if you've been moved by Jane's story and you want to get to know her more, when you go connect with her to get a copy of her book, why not think about at least 10 other people who who may be feeling suffering effects from this time, whether it be in their business or not, or are not part of community. This would be such an easy, simple, inexpensive gift to give somebody that you can just simply drop to them and go, look at, I'm here to face the storm with you. You're not alone, you know?
That's perfect.
So it is like, I love what you're saying, let's not face this alone. Let's do it together. So
Exactly.
you're beautiful. You have such a beautiful heart. I want to thank you.
Thank you.
Um, for being able to get through the other side of that storm too. And not only that, but to be able to package it up and be able to pass it along to us to share as well. Okay.
Good. All right. Thank you so much, Gail.
And thank you. And to wherever you are in this world, we wish you a great day and we look forward to seeing you again soon. Thank you.